Hey! The Workers Club. I love the name.
It's Workers Club 112. Gus, Larry, Wilson. Larry was saying it's kind of a slot. We haven't had one of these in a minute. Feels like where we're doing the early days of the, somebody's like, and here's how I got into the business. And JR's kind of moving at a clip. Not really though. I mean, he's leaving us stuff we're kind of interested in and want to share stuff. And some of it I think he's zhuzhing up as he's telling the story to whoever was taking this down.
He's doing what?
Zhuzhing it up a little bit, like he's almost, as he's spinning his yarn.
Definitely.
I wrote a couple times like question mark. Is this really how the exchange went? Where it's very. We'll get to it, but JR was in the news this last couple weeks because Ric Flair finally got back about. First, JR was like, I don't know why Ric Flair yelled at me on Twitter about, talking about my diagnosis.
Wanting attention.
Yeah.
Because then Flair was like, it was just a joke. It's like,
that's Flair's like, joke. Yeah, it's a joke. That's why I deleted it.
Now we're going to bring up the Tampa.
Yeah, you want to talk about Tampa? The guy that wrote out I like that he spelled it with a K. Ric Flair. Anybody else dealing with this? There have been two posts. Well, there's one previous one. The one was, hey, does anybody else notice that Ric Flair's always, or it was, who do you see around a lot? And somebody's like, Ric Flair's at the Pearl all the time, drunk as hell. I had to pick him up once. He was passed out like on the curb. And now this guy, new guy, posted, hey, does anybody else in the service industry, you ever notice Ric Flair shits his pants? He gets drunk and he just smells like shit. And then he nuked his account and deleted it. But I'm telling you, this Tampa trip, and look, hey, just to say now, I've already talked to the wife about it. I think I can get a weekend. I think I can get away for a couple days.
Yeah.
And I also did inform her that part of the plan might possibly be me trying to get Ric Flair to shit his pants.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've been given the drinking hall pass.
Oh, Lord. Now does that put it on Gus and I? We're on some kind of duty. We don't know what's gonna happen. Are you gonna turn into some kind of gin-soaked monster?
I'm going to puke and go to sleep. That's all.
Oh, okay.
I don't puke, actually, so no.
Okay. I'm going to be rubbing your back on. Just puke. Just let it out. It's going to feel so much better when you puke.
I think I puked twice. I
used to not want to, and then I got into the habit of just, in my younger years, just do it. Just do it and then pass out, and you'll feel so much better. But you got to make sure you lay on the floor going, fuck. Fuck. God,
that was my detox routine. If I was sick, I'm like, just make yourself puke. Let's do it. Yeah. And I just got to like it a little bit.
So, man, that might get squared away. We'll see. And then Jim Ross also followed up with I don't know, how did this come about? Was he asked specifically about Vince McMahon by Conrad? What happened here? That he was talking to, what is it? Oh yeah, Grilling JR podcast. He thinks Vince isn't done with the wrestling business. And he went on to talk about, that Vince is a great guy. He built this thing. I don't have the quote in front of me. He just doesn't think he's done with pro wrestling, and he thinks he's one of a kind. People just can't stop talking about Vince like this.
Listen, it would be tough if you worked in the industry pre-Vince and post-Vince and made your living from Vince. You can play them world games. I know. Of course. We know this with you and your gotchas.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, baby.
I think Jim's being... I think maybe the people writing him off too quick are like, come on, you would take
I
a
think
job.
Jim's making the smart play.
Yeah.
He knows there's going to be money.
He's going to get another payday.
Absolutely. There's money to be had.
I do think, and I try to picture someone that I've known a long time and they get accused of a horrible crime.
But it's not even that. It's the guy who made, like, if someone, had made the industry that you're in, had changed it, and you had worked under him and made a ton of money from him. It's kind of even hard to quantify because it's such a weird...
I know, specific. And then we talked about how everyone kind of thinks either like he's like a dad. I don't think JR did. I think he thinks Bill Watts is his dad. That's for sure coming through. He definitely has some kind of older brother, little brother syndrome with Watts. The amount of times he puts in the book how he's goo goo gaga for insert wrestler or person, and it's just like, Jim, you're kind of similar in age. I know you watched him kind of growing up a little bit, but like some of these people, it's like, get a grip. Stop being a mark. We last left JR. Do we have anything anybody have any like business they want to clear up? Any acts they want to grind? Any vendettas or grudges or no?
I think I'm okay.
Oh, tune in next week when Larry unloads both barrels.
I had some to open with, but I forgot, so it probably wasn't good.
Your boy Otaku?
No, I don't mention him on the show.
Oh, sorry. We broke our Otaku rule. His ears just perked up. Not our boy, to be clear. Someone that we want to help. We last left Jim. He had gotten the call to be on the announce team for one night.
Jimbo.
After having left the business. Right? He went back home already. Because remember, he was making $125 a week and the extra 30 and blah, blah, blah. He was on the road.
Yep. It broke my heart, but I moved back home. Yeah.
Yeah. But then by the end of the chapter, right, he's back in it. So
he's kind of back in it. I think he again leaves, though, for good now. Yeah, Jim's a little, again, he's a little sketchy and it's kind of vague about because he's already had a wife and a kid. Now he's on marriage 2 with also another kid, or is it the same kid?
No, it's the same wife.
Oh, am I spoiling ahead here where he says he's on marriage 2? Okay.
Yeah, you're spoiling.
And then he says she's...
Oh, wait, he says marriage 2 in this?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, then I'm sorry, I missed that. I thought it was just one...
Unless I read it wrong. Let's see here. Yeah, we're about a couple chapters away. Where does he say it?
Oh, you're right. He has 2 daughters from 2 previous marriages. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course he hits you it'll pop up in one sentence like, and my second wife was pregnant, and you're like, excuse me, Jim? When did this happen? I would have loved to hear about it.
What is Jim's favorite television show?
Jeez, my knee jerk said Gunsmoke, and then I went Little House on the Prairie, but now I don't know.
This is from a 2021 YouTube interview.
Oh, like a current show he was watching maybe in 2021?
24.
Ooh, good guess.
Pretty good guess. Yeah, that's a good guess.
Wilson?
I don't know.
Sopranos.
That's a tough... Yeah. JR watching Sopranos. He's definitely floating back to the booking meetings, Bill Watson with the captain. Everyone's got their role.
Yeah.
Who's Leroy McGurk? Probably Paulie?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, in his mind. Yeah. God, Christopher.
Because he's older than the boss, but he's not as high as the... Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a loudmouth. Christopher would be someone he was annoyed with. I don't know who that would have been, and JR would have been annoyed with.
Bischoff.
Yeah, he thinks I
Or Jake
did
Roberts.
it. We got to do it one of these days. Gus Sprano's cast. See how I worked? Gus Sprano's cast. Maybe that's what you guys can do. Oh, so I may or may not be able to record in a couple of weeks. Larry.
It's the same day
Really?
I can't record.
Oh, Larry
Remember
half-heartedly
Tuesday
was
the
like,
8th?
oh yeah, or no, the 2nd.
No,
You can't
the
do the
8th.
8th. What,
I'm
July
saying
8th?
yes, July 8th is the day you're gone and I'm gone.
No, wrong. Oh, you're right. Never mind. I'm wrong. You're right.
Thank you.
I just looked at a calendar. Yes, July 8th. Possible. Which, you know what? Maybe, Gus, you just record on your own and you just watch Sopranos and just kind of talk through it. Just
That
kind of
sounds
initial
so
thoughts.
I would love
Just-
that.
Yeah, just take over the show.
No. that'd be
Have Otaku on.
You can start one of those live reaction YouTube channels and you'll instantly have 50,000 followers.
Yeah. A man who's never seen Sopranos watches for first time, and
Oh my god. Yeah, put a face on that thing
Yeah.
and you'll
Get
be on
the
the front page of YouTube.
did he really just do that? You gotta act like the dumbest man alive while you're watching it. You gotta be like, "What's he doing? Is he getting out of the
Oh
car?"
my god, is he really gonna do
Yeah.
that?
Guys,
the
is
world
this for
coming
real? Was this really on TV? He's chasing him. Okay, settle down.
Hang on before I get on my old
Okay,
man
go
rant.
Okay,
I found
yeah.
out the new kid at work is 20. And it has
Okay.
blown my mind because today he was asking me how I listened to music, like how you got music when I was young.
When you were young.
Yeah,
Wasn't
when
that
I was
long
his
ago.
age. How did I get
Right.
music?
like Napster or like CDs
You
or
purchased it.
All of
you
the
purchased
above.
it, or you
I-
yeah, you still purchased it, stole it.
Think about how different that is.
Was he writing a paper? Why was he so like
He's
He
taking notes.
seems very sheltered. He lives with grandma. Not to make judgments. He's like, seems very timid. So I don't know if he's a sheltered guy or not. So
man.
I think he's, both young and sheltered. So it's
Well,
we're introducing him to the world slowly, the crew.
Love to get this guy in my crew. Love a young, timid guy to get a hold of. All
Mhm.
right, yes.
well got him truly.
Yeah, man. Take him out. Take him to the bar. Suss out his problems. Why are you living with grandma? What's going on there, bud? Okay, not behind the mic. We're in 1976. And he kind of just says, "Well, I did it, and then I never got a chance to do it again." This is a random kind of. This is not behind the mic, and then he goes into a Dick Murdoch story.
Captain Redneck.
Most of the boys, capital B, would take Cowboy Bill Watts' famous finds with their mouths shut. So Bill Watts likes to find people.
You should institute that at your place
Thank
of
you. Thank you. I
It's-
should. Deduct from pay. See how that goes. There's always talk about that in shops when they mess something up. It's like, what are we doing? We're punishing people.
My boss did that once because a guy accidentally broke a window and took it out of his check. I'm just like, come on. What are we doing
Oops.
here?
Scumbag.
Not nice. Well, Dick Murdoch got fined, and he wasn't going to be someone that was going to take it lying down. JR remembers that Dickie was a loud, obnoxious Texas Longhorn who liked to drink a lot of beer and eat a lot of mayonnaise on his broccoli.
Oh,
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah. I wrote, wait until Dick discovers ranch. The elevated mayonnaise. They would talk about the OU-UT rivalry.
God.
And, Dick loved talking. They each had they knew the, trivia and all the players and stats.
Coach Barrett Switzer.
They had a natural chemistry, JR says, and they liked to ride together because I don't think JR would not drink and drive, but he says Dick did. Dick definitely liked to drink and drive, and it was country music on the radio. And of course, Dick hated guys who smoked pot, even though he secretly, occasionally enjoyed speed. Okay. So, hey, Jim, you hear about my check? And JR says no. And then he's like, I'm not going to let Bill get away with it. And JR is like, okay. I guess Dick has to be, he's kind of like really wants to talk about this in the car because he's like, don't you want to know what I'm going to do? Not really. And then Dick shows the check. And the fine leaves him with, what is it, $1. He'd earned $6K. But because he'd been late to almost every town and clowned around, quote, in at least a couple of that week's main event matches.
I love Bill Watts. Clowning around.
Clowning around out there. So he fined him $5,999. So the check is for $1. After the fines, that's, and all the information on the check.
Clownery.
Yeah, for general buffoonery and showing up. What did it say? Not late. Almost late or something like that. What? Late to almost every town. So not late to every, but almost every town. He made it to the main event, right? Why is he going to show up like before what? The start of the show? What are we doing? He's making it there. He's wrestling. He's clowning around, but he's wrestling.
I can't tell if I like... Listen, Murdoch was a hell of a fucking worker. And right, he looked like, he didn't give a fuck, but he'd just take great bumps. Huge guy. Mm-hmm. I can't tell if I really like him fucking. I don't know. I like that he's so naturally good at it that he can fuck around, I guess. That's what I find endearing.
Yeah.
Something about it I like, and I'm trying to figure out why. Because if someone did it now, I might be annoyed. Maybe I wouldn't. No one has the guts to have the Mick Foley, Owen Hart popcorn match now. You know what I mean?
Isn't that what they all just do now? Essentially on house shows.
Isn't that the Young Bucks four-way bullshit?
No, yeah, Larry misses this, but then Chuck Taylor throws one fake grenade, and Larry's got a problem.
Maybe you're right. I don't know.
Just admit you like Chuck Taylor. Okay. Gentleman Chuck Taylor. Thank you. So
Muffin Top Taylor.
Hey, come on now. He got fit. He got TV presentable like Joey Janela did there. So Dickie says, I had something to say about Dickie and I can't remember it now. Oh yeah, Bret Hart. No, I was going to say about Bret Hart. Oh, Bill Watts. I know didn't he prefer Bret over Shawn?
Now Bill addresses that in that
Bret would show up late all the time.
And I think he claims to have not weighed in on that, but that was always the story that he opposed Shawn winning. He didn't think Shawn was a big enough guy to win the title. Yeah.
Well, so Bret's late and Shawn's little. There you go. Is Bill's still alive? So he's currently watching the AEW product, jotting down notes. Conrad, get him on a podcast. Let's see what he's got to say about the current product. Dickie says, oh, Bill wants to teach me about being professional, so this is Dick Murdoch's big plan. Well, you know how meticulous Bill is. He accounts for every dollar and every cent. He never misses a detail. So what I'm going to do is I'm never going to cash this check. That's kind of the response JR has. Yeah, just for the rest of his life, the son of a bitch will never be able to balance his checkbook. Eventually, we'll drive him crazy, and he might end up killing himself or something good like that.
Over $1, essentially?
Yeah, that he can't line his books up.
Here.
Don't tell Dick that. He's on a roll.
Bill Watts.
Bill Watts pulling his hair out because he can't balance the book.
Yeah. Ask no quarter and pay no quarter.
And you know what Dick Murdoch did with that check? He framed it, the $1 check, in his Texas bar, Dick's Dive. So there you go. You could have gone to Dick's Dive. I don't know.
That's what I'm like. I don't know. That sounds like maybe what he calls his basement bar at the ranch.
No,
yeah. There you go.
You don't think he operated? He was actually a
level. Yeah.
I don't know if Murdoch could do the paperwork.
That's what I'm saying. What's he gonna go get a liquor license? And
I have a Facebook post here. Made it at Dick's Dive after the Dick Murdoch funeral. Gene Antone. Oh, it seems like they had after his funeral. They all went to Dick's Dive. Doesn't look like a basement. I mean, you can't really tell either. There's a guy with a funky U shirt on. Here's the actual thing from Gene Antone. This was made? It's a picture. This was made at Dick Murdoch's bar in Texas after his funnel. Just a few of his many friends that had attended this sad day. Sure do miss that crazy guy. I don't know. It looks like Robert Duvall. That could be anybody. Some guy that's clearly a wrestler. Another guy that's clearly a wrestler. The other guy has to be like a ref or something. Couple old ladies. Should I share this link later? Maybe you know who these people are. Put it in
I see. Okay, I'm looking. Hey, I don't know who those people are.
This says right there, he was a proprietor of a colorful establishment. Can't find anything else about it.
Well, my apologies to Mr. Murdoch for...
Imagine you sit down in Dick's Dive and you got Dick Murdoch sit across there explaining what beers you got. You think that Dick, what did Dick like to drink? Do we know? Other than beer? I guess beer.
He feels like a beer guy. A Schlitz or a Pabst.
I was going to say, I love a Corona with a lime. Okay.
What surprised you? He surprised me with being able to do the paperwork. He might have a more refined palate.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. He's fucking. I keep now and all this, but he's also on speed.
And in the KKK, of course.
Yeah, just on speed in the KKK, just gacked out.
Okay, and then maybe Red Stripe's not his favorite beer.
How fast do you think I can drink this beer? That's how he... Speed. Let's see. JR just talks about what a great performer Dick was. And he's thinking about that dang microphone, the dang matches. And he was like, ooh, I'd imagine my dad in front of me and I'd be explaining to him what the sticks of the matches are. And he says phrasing, cadence, tone, lift, drama. These words are running through his head. And then he goes into that Stan Hansen, Frank Goodish, a.k.a. Bruiser Brody. Are we sure that's his name, Frank Goodish?
Yeah.
Can't remember what I was calling him for a while, but
Frank
that's it.
Good Wrench.
Yeah, something like that. Frank Gotch. It was Frank Gotch. They're in as a tag team. Watts wants them as singles. I like that JR puts in that he liked Hanson and Goodish from the start, and you better believe that he tags it with they were tough ex-football players.
What's wrong with that?
It's just a fetish of Jim's that I'm finding highly concerning.
He's got a type.
He's got a type.
I would kill for some ex-football players. If we had some
You want to see Travis Kelce? You got Rob Gronkowski. Didn't that do anything for you?
But you got to get the shitty. Well, I guess we had fucking Baron Corbin. I was going to say the shitty football players who can't make it.
Or, what about the one guy?
The male model guy.
No, what was his fucking name? Everybody loves him. He's not even in wrestling anymore. He's like an agent.
Mojo?
Mojo. Yeah, what about Mojo? Did you like Mojo?
Was he a football player?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, no, I know. Those go against my thing, but
okay, maybe there are more misses than
wrestling needs more non-fans to be wrestlers.
Correct.
Have contempt for the
he was a football
product.
player, right? Roman Reigns is a former football player. The Rock.
There
Come
you
on.
go. Yeah.
Look at all these guys.
Yeah, all failed athletes.
Seth Rollins likes the Bears. I mean, he never played, but he's a fan. Trying to stay in wrestling. 1979. Bill Watts and Leroy McGurk were never a match made in heaven. And JR describes it as Leroy is stuck doing the old school way of things. Whatever that would be to 1979. Leroy's even more old school than that. And there's a lot of old timers hanging around the McGurk office. They just want a payday for sitting around in the office.
Leroy McGurk.
And the way JR remembers it, Watts is out on the road trying to grow the business. So Bill would book a show, then Leroy changes it on the advice of those old fogies in the office. And JR says things were, quote, getting ropey between both men. And then he says, like most things that turn sour at the top, it has a way of turning everything underneath the same way too. I know what he's talking about, that saying, but I've always heard like the fish rots from the head down,
sure,
something like that. Never heard sour at the top, and then everything underneath is also the same way.
Well, he's an Oklahoma farm boy with a semester of college education.
Fair. Everything turns sour at the top, I guess. And what, like food?
Like milk.
Yeah.
Milk starts milk curdles at the top, and it curdles all the way down.
That's right.
Boy. Jar drinking a big, tall glass of milk. That's a sight.
Oh, yeah.
He likes milk.
He wants a whole milk.
He likes milk. A fucking bowl of ice cream. That's milk. He fucking loves those bowl of JR as a child. Big bowl of ice cream watching that wrestling. Just happy as a clam. Cheeks rosy. Turn around to his grandparents. Look at that guy. He's huge. He played for OU last year. We know, Jim. JR says, well, I guess I was a quote-unquote Watts guy. So he's about to find out how sour it can get. And I was like, well, you said quotes, but you did kind of give Bill Watts' version of it in the beginning. Maybe that's why they figured. I think people could tell. So they split the territory, right? McGurk and Watts split the territory. Leroy gets Oklahoma, plus a few towns in Arkansas, northern Texas, and southern Missouri. Bill takes Louisiana and Mississippi. Okay. So he's a Watts guy, but Jim stays in Oklahoma, Leroy's turf now. And he said he did that because I had complex family issues unfolding there. I had just been through a divorce. And I was like, what? Which I knew was my doing. More vague, like, oh, how? And I wanted to be closer to my daughter. You just covered 4 years of like personal drama that's occurred off screen.
Well, maybe it's just better not to speak about.
It's like that damn fraternity fight.
He doesn't want to relitigate it. He's moved on.
Yeah.
Just know it was my fault. Okay, and I wanted to be at home to handle that.
Or maybe he's granted not for us, but I think most people would say in wrestling books they don't care about the personal, you know what I mean, early or family stuff.
I know. Why are we so interested? Are we just nosy Nellies? I'm interested in that. I could give a shit about the territory stories. Fuck Dick Murdoch and his speed. I don't give a shit.
I want to hear about how poorly you treated 2 wives in the 70s.
Yes. Yes. Or I want like, what was like some of the stories that I've actually liked? I don't fucking know. What the fuck?
No one has ever taken. It's
where they act like fucking ass, like Steve Kern blading himself and jumping into a pool. You know? Stupid shit like that. Or like, I know there was some fucking the Brett stuff that we liked the most, or at least I liked the most, was when he was like
Julie was ruining my life again.
Yeah, it was like the personal stuff, or he was with his mistresses, or like the stuff where he'd be like looking out the window and his brother's like
Smith's in a box in the yard.
Yeah, staring at a cat or something. Yeah, it's just like shit like that, where it was just like he's talking about these little things that are like you'd think are whatever, but it's like painting a bigger picture of like just how fucked up that all is. Like even Steve Kern, when that's the blading himself and jumping in the pool. Steve Kern's silly out throughout the whole book, that kind of stuff. When he's talking about the Coco Beware and who punched who, and he starts kind of, I don't know, maybe he beat me up, maybe I don't know. It's like, fuck this shit. I hate this fucking shit. So of course JR, the maybe or maybe not Watts guy says, well, now without Bill to keep a lid on the prevailing shenanigans, Leroy's office quickly devolved into a political cesspool with all the old stooges tattling on each other, trying to curry favor. And he says the more that those guys got power, or quote unquote power, the more JR felt himself getting booted out of Leroy's circle. And, you know, he says that they would call him Watts's boy, who was not, quote unquote, loyal to the cause. This point, I'm like, what is happening? Loyal to the cause? They just split the territory. What are we doing? What's happening?
It's all silly.
Paranoia going around was stirred up from nothing but whispers and alcohol. It's fucking Game of Thrones in there. What's going on? We're talking about territory wrestling. How big is this payday that these guys are like, well, Jam can't cut into my, what if I get fired?
I know, and now you've cut that territory in half, so it's even smaller. I mean, Leroy's got fucking Oklahoma City and Tulsa?
A few towns in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Southern Missouri.
So we got Little Rock. We got Memphis.
Yeah, all he doesn't have is Louisiana and Mississippi.
Yeah.
That's swamp territory.
What? This whole section is a big telling a wrestler or somebody in the wrestling business, get a real job. Just go get a real job. It's okay. You'll be okay. They act like they you know, like when Jericho talks about being like a gypsy wanderer, like I could never have done anything else. You know, I would have joined the circus, all that bullshit. It's like, trust me, there's plenty of people that have the flights of fancy in this, and then they're fine. They go, they do their job. It's okay. But these old quote unquote fogies sitting around, and JR's like, I need my job. I'm going to get boxed out. They're thinking, and they're like tattling on each other. They're creating gossip about, I don't even know what the gossip would be in a territory office. Grizz drank all the hooch when you were out, and then he put it back and said it wasn't him. Something like that, maybe?
I think Grizz would have had different stories being whispered about him.
Well, I just try to grab anybody in my eye. Yeah, what Grizzly Adams creating a rumor about Jim Ross, and Jim Ross was like, "What the fuck? This guy's a fucking criminal." Like,
Yeah,
what
he
the
said
fuck?
Grizzly Adams. Is it Grizzly Smith or Grizzly Adams?
Grizzly Smith. Grizzly Adams was the actor, or
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, whoops. Grizzly Smith. Sorry.
Don't besmirch the good name of Grizzly Adams like that. Do not put that.
Leroy McGurk was Joe Paterno. You know, he didn't see it.
God.
Thank you.
Remember when they rioted when they were taking the statue away?
I remember watching it on the news because they were like, kind of like, we're standing out Paterno's house because people wanted to also come out and say something at a certain point. And I was like, I don't know, kind of feels like this is not good. Like anybody that's really like, no, go Joe. Maybe this is one of those. Maybe just let it play out. We don't know anything yet. No, we love you, Joe. Then he died.
Shouldn't be that caught up into college
for sure.
football. I mean, come on,
dude.
You're correct. Maybe if you played on the team, and the people that didn't even go to this school and were like making that part of their identity was super like weird to me.
One of the worst pieces of sports writing I've ever read in my life is by a longtime sports writer here where I live. And back in the day on our college football team, the quarterback tragically passed in a plane crash, small plane crash. And randomly, this was then like years and years later, he decides to write about this, in kind of like it's the anniversary in memorial. But instead of just writing about the guy that he covered or the young man that he had covered back in the day, he has a fantasy in the article where this guy becomes backup quarterback to why is my brain trying to say Elton John? Denver Broncos, help me. John Elway.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Tim Tebow after.
No. This is when the Broncos win the Super Bowl, but Elway gets hurt. I mean, it gets deep in the fantasy. He has he has a family. He's got it becomes really
this is
disturbing.
Yeah,
fan fiction of a essentially a okay college, like not even like just your standard, probably would have been involved in the family business afterwards or whatever,
or selling cars.
Yeah, something. And he throws the final touchdown that won the Broncos the Super Bowl. And what the fuck is this? Anyways, there used to be a bar that had his.
How did you get into that story?
I just said I don't like. Was it college football? Being that into college football.
Okay.
Big,
Sorry.
Here, where there's no pro team. Here, where there's no pro team.
So was that a Nebraska? Sorry.
No, you can. Yeah.
A Nebraska quarterback.
Nebraska. Yeah.
I don't remember who that was.
His name was Brooke Behringer. So they had this sports writer's jacket in a bar hanging up, and I didn't know it. I sat down. I said, "Whose jacket is that framed up?" And they said, "Oh, it's why am I fucking like what?" His name was Tom Chattel, and I was like, "Oh, you should take that down." And I tried to explain the article, and they kind of just stared at me blankly. I don't think they were with me.
This asshole didn't even play in college. He was a backup.
That's right. Sorry. Yes, he was a backup to that's, and then I was like, yes, and that's in the thing in the future. He gets drafted as and he's a backup. Yeah.
Okay.
He's the backup. What? You know how backup quarterbacks. I remember thinking when I was
only one I
was drawing a
can think
parallel
of
of backup
is Matt Castle. Longtime Patriots backup.
Look, I mean,
remember? He was a backup
reading,
in college.
Yeah.
He backed up Carson Palmer and Matt Leinart at USC. That's the only guy I can think of who would have been drafted as a backup.
You're reading this article and you're going, so even in this guy's fantasy to honor this man, he's still just like a backup. Like he couldn't even put him. You could do anything. It's a fantasy. You could be like, and he was actually the quarterback of the Raiders, and they won that year. So there you go.
We gotta.
I think it was like maybe his family or somebody was from Denver, so it meant even more. Like there's so much like little things in it where it was like, what are you doing to this person's family?
Yeah.
Let's see. He begins to believe that they are making him fulfill tasks that Leroy's sycophants wanted to go awry. And here's his one example of like them fucking with him and giving him stuff that he could not accomplish well. They'd send me to the airport to pick up higher maintenance, quote unquote, wrestlers without smartening me up to their real names. I was like, okay.
Gotta keep it kayfabe, Jim.
And then JR's like, oh man, they're trying to fucking ice me out by making me look like a fool in front of Dick the Bruiser. So he goes to pick up Dick the Bruiser and he goes, hello, Mr. Bruiser. My name's Jim Ross. And you're supposed to be like, haha. Dick is standing there looking like a wrestler. And he goes, how'd you know it was me, kid? And JR says, well, sir, I've seen your picture in the magazines and I'm a huge fan. Even before I got into the business, you were always one of my favorites. And Dick's like, oh, okay. I don't know. This is one of those where it's like, this is how the exchange really went down. JR's a nerd. Dick is going, one of your favorites, just one. So Dick says, my name is Dick Afflis. JR does this a lot. All of his exchanges, he always says, what? Or come again? Or
yeah.
What's that, sir? My name is Dick Afflis. Mine is Jim Ross. Jim, you already said that. And I know you told me. Shit. It's okay, kid.
Shit.
Shit. It's okay, kid. So, and JR uses this one a lot. I needed to add another string to my bow. He's used that before. Keep the axe from falling. He always wants it. JR wants to be very indispensable. He wants a lot of skills. Excuse me?
You the man. Thank you.
Hi, Carrie. Oh, mark it down.
It's okay. Sorry.
I needed so
all right,
this is
hard
what JR
reset
comes up with.
here.
What?
Where are we at?
The territory has split. JR's technically on the outskirts of the business, or he would talk about that he was leaving it.
Okay.
He'd moved back to his hometown, basically, but I guess he's still working in wrestling.
The Dick Afflis part, I forgot. Okay.
Yes. Yes, it is very. This whole I wasn't on the mic anymore. Now the territory's they're fucking with me. Now he's going to start running off his own shows. Okay, JR the promoter, or known as spot shows. Leroy will be his partner. This is where the Sopranos comes in.
Yep.
Now Jim's going to give Leroy a taste.
This is like the calling card scheme or the Webistics.
All right. Yes. JR drops one of those, a lot of these towns he ran had never seen wrestling. They'd be one of the first one of these shows would be the first ones ever held in those localities. He is a wordsmith, a self-proclaimed wordsmith.
Hey, they might not be towns. Might be townships.
Could be, yeah. So he runs a show in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And they didn't have concession stand vendors set up, so he goes to Walmart and buys soda pop and bologna and bread. one of the ring crews.
Can you imagine that? You go down to the matches, you want to get yourself
Yeah.
a good bite to eat, and there's bologna and bread.
Yeah. One of the ring crew's wives is making up the sandwiches, handing out the sody pops.
Oh my god. Poor Fayetteville.
Fayetteville, I'll just stand there eating.
Bologna and bread.
Would you rather it be the Sportatorium where I think Cornette said they found rat bones in the fryer oil?
Oh, Jesus.
No. Just thinking about where you...
Bliss, I suppose.
I'm not going to lie. I don't know. Bologna sandwich kind of sounds good. I just sit there and eat a bologna sandwich. Might even go get a second one. Am I capped at 2, or do I get to buy as many as I want?
I think keep going until I got bologna and bread.
Yeah, just say, hey, how about this? I'll buy the loaf there. I'll buy the pack of bologna. I'll take it over to my seat. I'll make my own sandwiches. Thanks. Let's kind of. I don't need this gal. This is a random question, and I apologize. When you guys make yourself a sandwich, this is what I do: piece of meat. This is just your basic sandwich, nothing but piece of meat, cheese. I do have condiments on it, whatever. Cheese, sometimes lettuce, sometimes whatever. But then another piece of meat. So I'm a 3 pieces of meat to 1 cheese slice guy. Is that normal? You do 2, 2, 1, 1.
No, 3 to 1 at least. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's about right.
You gotta have more meat than cheese, right?
Oh, well, correct.
I mean, if you go to I go to this Jewish deli when I do get a sandwich for lunch, and you're getting like 40 to 1. It's like a giant fucking turkey sandwich with a little bit of Swiss.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
it's a little bit too much.
Yeah,
but I'd like, come on, it's mostly meat, just like a hamburger. I want that type of ratio.
Yeah, because you know what I just thought? I was like, yeah, but that's just 1 bun and 1 slice of cheese. But the burger's thick, a little bit thicker than the cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like biting into a sandwich and it's equal parts, or it's a little cheese on the cheese heavy side. No, thank you. Maybe get away with that if you had other stuff. You're talking the crap in there. Okay, thank you. Maybe I'm thinking about it too hard.
Wilson.
I'm probably thinking about it too hard because I am counting it out as I'm putting together the sandwich of like, okay, 2, 1. Okay, if I do another thing, if I'm doing a double sandwich, go. Now that is the 1, so the next one will be 1, and then I'll go 2 for the top. I might need to go get diagnosed.
A sandwich before the night is over is my conclusion.
Yeah.
Well,
I might.
When I make it, it probably would be a little bit from now, but I will certainly make sure to document how many pieces of meat and cheese I use. I'm sad right now in my sandwiches. I just got like the tub of like the fucking like what's like the like first I'm using tub meat, like turkey prepackaged tub meat.
Right. Yeah.
Is that fine?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Sometimes I go to the place and I go, hey, cut me off this or that.
If I had like a cool local deli, maybe I'd do that. But yeah, I'm buying the fucking resealable turkey.
Okay.
Yeah, chicken rotisserie or turkey black pepper. It's fine. It works.
Ooh, yeah. Turkey black pepper. That sounds good.
You guys like mayo, French mustard, yellow mustard? What are you doing on it? Ranch?
I could do without any of that.
I'm a dry guy.
Just dry. Yeah. Wow, I'm predominantly dry. Used to be a hardcore dry guy. Now I don't know what changed. I think I got into a mayo kick.
That's fine.
I mean, not mayo and broccoli. I'm not some freak like Dick, but and by the way, JR on these spot shows, he's getting them sponsored. Like, he's trying to like get as much money coming. You better believe that other organizations are paying most of the cost. I think he mentions it later, maybe that he's doing the whole Bill Watts thing to other people. Essentially, they're paying for the ring, they're paying for the transportation. They get the free advertising. then 20% of the gross. And they keep the money for the food and beverages. All they pay us $250, and then Leroy and JR get 80% of the gate. Says he pays the talent 35% of that, and then he splits the rest with Leroy, 50-50. He's reffing the matches. He's managing the money. He's booking the matches, finishes. The Office Stooges hate it because it's working. He's doing well. This is where one of those things where you see JR as an operator. So at his spot shows, he wants to make sure the guys want to work his shows. I made sure to have complimentary catering, hot water, and free towels for them when they came in. The boys loved the little bit of pampering and TLC that came with working on my shows.
JR's got those fresh towels. I like it.
Yeah. And hot water. Is it for like the showers? Is he like telling the building to turn the hot water on?
And for your noodles and, your proteins.
Noodles. I thought kind of like, or maybe they're dipping the towels in the hot water and then they're going, thanks. It's almost like it's a wet steam. You ever get a nice hot wet towel? Not wet, but,
that's pleasant.
Love it.
When you've been working in the Fayetteville humidity in August.
Complimentary catering. All the bologna sandwiches they can eat.
Hot bologna sandwiches.
A big glass of hot water. So he says one of his most successful stretches during that time were the McGuire twins, Billy and Benny. Who were the McGuire twins? They were the Guinness record holders for the heaviest twins at 600 plus pounds. Yes, they were the twins from that picture. The two gargantuan forms on mopeds, as he puts it. So these guys are special attractions, I did not know that these guys were. I think maybe I heard Dave mention it once.
And they're one of those names I hear Cornette mention all the time. But I didn't really realize they're from that picture.
Yes, maybe you think that, and then you're like, oh wow, yeah. So it's these guys. I don't think I've ever. Are they facing forward in that picture? Or are they facing away? I can't picture their faces.
No, this just demeans. Like JR can't even pretend to want serious wrestling if he was booking these fucking. You know what I mean? Like, don't talk to me about.
It's always about money. So whatever successful, it's funny because Bill Watts says that too. Like the good idea is the one that makes money. It's like, okay, so if you were to say push, he'd be like, no, I'm not pushing that person. The McGuire's opponents were Siegfried Stonk, and Bob Sweeten.
Stanky.
Bob Sweeten.
Siegfried Stanky and Bob Sweeten.
Sweet Tan.
Bob Sweetan. Stonk. Maybe it's Stonk. Stonke was portraying an evil German stereotype. Evil German is a stereotype? I guess okay. I'll go with that. And he gets a good little, who is playing the evil Nazi? Texan Bill Lehman. A good guy, all-American football player at Texas Lutheran. So Bob Sweeten, I had to go flip back. I can't remember. He's the guy that beat. Is he the guy that beat up JR? Or was that another guy? That was another guy. That was the guy with the bag of sex toys. Took liberties with him, right?
Oh, God damn it. What was his name? Yeah.
Bob Sweeten is the guy that beat him at poker.
Okay.
And took all his money or something like that. Anyway, so he's, JR says, quote, the most cantankerous human being I'd ever encountered. Oh, he says he is. He did take liberties with him in the ring. Maybe it was him. Okay. So now he's even more miserable since that. And I guess, you see the guy that Hodges squeezing his hand and all that. So this guy also took liberties with the McGuire twins, JR says. Quote, just beat the shit out of them. Let's see. JR calls Sweeten a piece of feces.
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 Feces, yes.
Feces. Feces?
What are you doing?
Feces. It's a speech impediment, okay?
Keep going, because I got a story, so please keep going.
About what, poo?
Keep going.
Okay. Oh, okay. I got to get to it? Okay. Well, guess what? Bob Sweetan was operating like that, being an asshole to everyone and everything, taking liberties with people, because he had the protection of Grizzly Smith, Leroy's right-hand man. Grizz and Sweet Tom were friendly, as they had a few things in common, including an interest in very young females. Leroy had even told me that he had to stop running Texarkana as part of a deal to allegedly get Grizz out of a charge involving a young girl there. Told you Leroy was a paterno.
Texarkana? What is it? French? It's Texarkana.
Texarkana. Like that. Remember that bass, Mark Teixeira?
You can't
like
say that with an accent.
Teixeira?
No.
Play for the Rangers.
God damn it. So I never heard this about Sweetan. All right.
Maybe I thought to myself, is Jared who I said I don't know fucking knows, but is
No,
Jared
but
like
listen.
throwing this guy under the bus? Is Jared like taking a shot at this guy?
In 1990, first of all, he was trained by Stu Hart. He's a Canadian guy.
Mm-hmm.
But in 1990, I don't know how this fell through the cracks. He was convicted of sexual assault of his daughter.
Oh,
no,
So we got a Buck Zumhoff situation.
well, yeah, isn't that what JR is saying? He's got something in common with Grizzly Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just never heard that before. So
Hold on, let me
That's
see.
brutal.
Let me see if he's in Brett's book, because Brett has an index like a professional. Stings, The Stomper, Stossel, Street, Strike Force, Sweet William, Sea Kiwis, no,
I don't remember him.
Terry Sapinski, See Powers of Pain, The Warlord,
Hell yes.
The Warlord, I like this one, Suicides, 185.
Jesus.
That's it. All right, I'll look. 185. Hold on. What did he say about suicides? It's about the Von Erichs.
Is there suicide / murder?
What's it then? What it was behind above that? It's like,
And listen to this is still on Sweeten's Wikipedia. So there's a category just called criticism.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2009, Jim Ross said that he didn't like Sweeten and didn't want to be around him, describing him as a miserable human being and a bully. Jim Duggan referred to him as a bully and a piece of garbage. Leo Burke called him easy to work with in the ring, but kind of lazy. While Colonel De Beers said, I wasn't a fan of his, from being a locker room thief to just, among other things, an asshole. His ex-wife said, he's a waste of skin as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that probably is the kid that got.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Fun.
So JR doesn't and he didn't like JR. Another crime.
Well, right. Personal life. He met his wife. He allegedly deserted his family on. I like this. That they have a date. He deserted his family on October 15, 1985. He'd been having an affair with a ring rat who was also a drug dealer. I think his ex-wife made this Wikipedia.
Could be. Or it was JR. Could be. Then, so he brings up the Grizzly Smith thing. And then he just says kind of like what Grizzly Smith was doing. And it's like, JR, if you knew this, and Leroy, and everybody seemed to know it. This was kind of one of those, everybody knew it, but nobody was saying anything. I don't know how cool it is to write later and be like, isn't this crazy? This criminal behavior? He says what part of Grizzly's job was to make the house shows and report back to the office. He was always in close enough contact with minors for something bad to happen. Parents would drop their kids off at the shows, and because we hit the same towns weekly, it was easy for young ladies. I'm laughing because the door to the office right now is getting... Can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me pause this.
I was just going to say, now explain to me this Bob Sweet and McGuire twin story, because I still don't understand what JR is trying to say.
First, he just wants you to know that also, in the middle of this other story, he wants you to know how Grizz was a predator. And that Bob Sweeten was also not good. Sweet hand. He just goes, and parents would drop their kids off the shows, and we hit the same towns weekly. It was easy for young ladies to figure. I don't know. He just goes in there. He's like, yeah, if you go around, you're getting moved around like a priest, and there's kids coming to the show. You see how it works? It's like, yeah, JR, did someone call the police?
None of my business.
He writes, I learned a lot from Leroy and Watson. I wrote how to cover up crimes. You got to move the agent out of the... You can't have him at Texarkana. You just move him over to the next town.
The boys will be boys on the road.
And JR says, I'll never understand why they're willing to keep Grizz on. I don't know. Why are any of these guys employed? They're sharing this the way that wrestlers sometimes talk about like knowledge. That's why we are big fans of Hangman Page here. Who gives a fuck what they have to say? But it's like, what wrestling wisdom could Grizzly Smith possibly be imparting that he has to get a payday, you have to have him around? What is he saying? Slow down?
That's what I was gonna say.
yeah, that's always the goal. Slow down. Take a beat. Then you walk down the hallway a little bit and some other asshole grabs you and goes, you know what you should do, slow down. And you walk down a little bit further and Harley Race grabs you and
the
goes,
arm tonight.
Yeah, Harley Race says, work the arm. Make sure the ref goes 1, 2, 3, just like
and
that.
And then you get 99.9% of your paycheck fine for clowning around.
You got Bill Watts watching you from at the other end, and he's going, this fucking guy looks like he's fucking goofing off. On my time?
Nobody works as slow.
It's not real.
But remember when Watts, I was just re-listening, when he did JR's charity show, and he's like, Danny Hodge went a half hour, Bill Watts went 10 minutes, and Watts said, the big guys don't have to work long.
That's right.
All these books are like well reviewed, and people are like, I love these wrestling stories, and I love wrestling. I mean, it sounds like we hate it. I mean, I just like I really honestly, we've done all these books, and I can't imagine somebody sitting down and being like, great, that was good. Glad I know that now. Let's see. What there had to be. Okay. Oh, yeah. So he's wondering in his mind, why didn't he say anything? He was confused about it. Grizz knew the business. There had to come a point, right? He's thinking, there had to come to a point where the rewards of a good gate were outweighed by a person's proclivities. I wanted to ask, Leroy, you still got this man on payroll after all this? Why do you keep using him? But I didn't. I didn't feel like it was my place.
Although, to be noted, when he was talent or director of talent, when the plane ride from hell happened, he also did nothing.
Maybe JR's confrontation averse. Can't be an operator in
Sometimes you need somebody to do nothing, and JR is kind of the perfect guy to do nothing.
Yeah, that's true. He did. Didn't he call people in his office and go, you know what you did. Not going to have any pay for a couple weeks.
The one story I can remember is that when Eddie was high, it was Dean and Chris. They went to JR and said, "You got to come look at Eddie. He's all fucked up." I'd have liked to have seen Jim's face during that moment.
I'd like to tell JR, guess what? This is how the Nazis happen. Just one guy looking around, saying, I guess it's not my place. I'm just a lowly lieutenant. Not for me to say. Maybe someone above me that's making all these horrible decisions will say something. If not, who, Jim? If not you, who? That's what I meant. Let's see. Oh, so JR then says, I still remember the first time I became acutely, Your Honor, the first time I became acutely aware. It's different than being just generally, I've heard things. Of Sweet Hand's part in it, and the memory still makes me nauseous. They're at a local station doing interviews in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Or it was after a show, yeah, at Fort Smith. One of the sponsors is there with his wife and a little girl who is maybe 12. Bob Sweetan muttered to me, I could make her purr like a kitten. Yeah. And
worm that tongue.
Jared's like,
oh no.
No. You can't hit me with a Tatum Brown?
Just remember that Scott Levy doing that.
And Mick is making mental notes.
So when you picture Francine the next time you watch Heat Wave 98, just remember.
Does Scott Levy like Christmas? Is he a big Christmas guy?
I think he's a very noted.
He's Jewish, so
yeah.
Oh, is Levy? Oh, yeah. Well, I've never seen him do a gimmick like that. You don't know with wrestlers until they do a gimmick, really playing it up. Let's see. So Jared's like, hey, now her husband might hear you. And then, of course, Sweeten is a monster, and he goes, I'm not talking about the mother. Gross, I wrote. So he beat the shit out of those twins. Remember all that way back when? Now they're in the showers. The two twins are in the shower of the building. And JR is like, I got to do something. These guys are my biggest draw. I cannot lose these guys because this dude took liberties with them. And everyone in Jim's mind, everyone in the locker room is waiting to see what JR is going to do. So what does JR do? He goes inside the shower. This is time now for jokey haha JR. He's painting a picture. It's the big 600-pound twins. It's JR. They're in the shower naked. He's asking them if they're okay. He says he tried to not see, that their stuff. But guess what? He saw it.
Was he like army crawling in there? How did they I would assume if they're that big, it's like
he comes in, they hear someone come in, and they turn around in unison.
Type situation.
Yeah. So he's just probably standing outside of the shower. I guess they're standing there getting showered. The water's cascading down their body. And JR's like, that guy's an asshole. And he goes, how about, you guys won't ever have to work with that guy again. And how about what does he offer him? A little extra money for your meals. And they kind of exchange a silent look of acceptance. And then JR writes in as a joke, I was thinking, please don't drop this damn soap. Okay.
So, I don't know. The story was set up different than how you explained it, but that's... Yeah, so JR hasn't been in a fucking shower before. It's not that big a deal. In sports, you shower.
That is funny that JR is so up on sports, and then this is how he ends the chapter. My first experience of talent relations had me standing fully clothed in the shower with two naked 600-pound men who were sobbing, as I soaped up a sponge, ready to wash them down. Oh yeah, I skipped over that part. They're like, "Hey, can you get our backs?" Because they're big and fat, you see.
They couldn't get each
And JR
other?
Guess not. It's funnier if JR has to pick up the sponge and it goes boom, boom.
That's JR, right? Wait, what do you call it? Zhuzhing it up? Or
Yeah, zhuzhing it up. I knew at that moment that I'd be in the wrestling business forever.
Did you? Or was that just a punch up? Because I feel like it was just a punch up at the end.
Again, he's ripping through marriages at this point, and he's got multiple kids from multiple women.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Out of the business, 1979.
Could we take 5?
Sure.
Okay.
1979. Out of the business. 2 weeks later, from the McGuire twins, JR is out of the wrestling business. He says McGurk Stooges got to me, or they got to McGurk. They told essentially that they told him that he was too loyal to Watts and that he was not a team player. So they lengthened JR's loops, kept his pay at $25 to $40 a day. So, and he blames Grizzly Smith for making it his mission to have JR starve, frustrate him out of the business. JR says, let's see here, I have this all. He says life on the road was never ending. That his parents thought he looked much older. He's the miles, he says, the flea bag motels, unhealthy fast food, years on his body.
Wives, the women, whiskey.
So this is what I was thinking about earlier. He goes, he's deep into bad personal habits.
I got demons.
Drinking most nights while driving. You know, one of those bad personal habits. I've never heard drinking while as like a habit. He's got a habit for. I mean, I guess I have, but I remember, that's a criminal way to describe somebody. Jim, he's got a bad habit of drinking and driving. Experimenting with various drugs so he could fit in with the boys.
I think Jim was doing lines in 79.
I guess he's doing speed occasionally with Dick. How does he know that secret? Secretly did speed. He'd have to have shown. Dick said, "Want to know my little sneaker? A little secret." And he's snorting speed. And JR says, "Ooh, I want in on I want the same secret."
He wouldn't have been stoned. He'd have been taking diet pills.
Oh, yeah, true.
That's what was
maybe he's crushing them up, and he's like, "It's even cooler up your nose."
Greenies, yellow jackets.
Yeah.
So he says the drug culture mixed with the lies and the drinking. And I was like, okay, see, this is one of those things where I was like, lies? That's personal stuff. What are you lying about, Jim? Does Jim not want to say that he was carousing?
Yes.
Well, he said that was destructive.
I mean, he hasn't had a romantic story in the book, right?
He is definitely don't. He's not going to kiss and tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we talked about it previously. Mrs. Hyatt, Sonny wants to take care of him.
Jim's gonna let his work speak for itself. He doesn't need that.
Yeah. I mean, everyone used to rib him how Jan was too good looking for him, and even Flair was like gobsmacked that she picked Jim over him.
What's wrong with Jim? Just a giant head?
He was always cherubic, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're necessarily a goofy-looking guy if you're a little cherub, a little porcelain doll.
He never seemed to have a body either. Like I always picture his upper body to be almost like the toy. Like
He's
we're
kind of
just
like like the Fisher Price little people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what do JR's nipples look like? Have we seen those before?
That's what I'm saying. I can't picture
We
JR.
probably have. I'm sure he got like his shirt ripped off in an in-ring segment during one of the many humiliation rituals that he had to endure.
Yeah. They're definitely not dinner plates by any means.
No, we remember that.
No, yeah.
I think they're perfectly normal nipples.
All right, I'll type it into my Google. Jim Ross nipples.
Got a title for the show. Perfectly normal nipples.
I think I'm going to do Jim Ross nipples. I've got a picture of Goldberg. I got a picture of Mike Awesome. Got a picture of some guy. I've got a image that somebody made of JR giving himself an award like the Obama meme. But it's JR, an old JR giving a young JR the medal. I mean, have you seen this picture before?
No, it sounds good though.
Is when JR is going to receive the inaugural Jim Ross Announcer Award. Okay. I got a picture of Grace Jones. Oddly. Okay. Well, I don't know what to do about this. Justin Bieber shirtless. Just everybody else is Ethan Page.
Come on, here's one of him at the beach. But it's only shoulders.
Damn it. Jim Ross. Oh, did you type in Jim Ross shirt off?
Shirtless. It's the very first thing that comes up. Jim Ross shirt.
Oh, yeah. If you type in shirt off, like I'm commanding, I'm making a command. It's just like JR shirts. Shirtless. That does make sense. The Rock. Oh, yeah. Shoulders only, you little tease. Another one with just the shoulders. Come on, lower that camera, JR.
Anyway, keep going.
Then one of his legs. Whoa. Have you seen this picture where he's in the gym? Can I share this?
Well, no, that's why he's a popular guy with the women.
Yeah, Gus, have you seen this picture?
No.
JR versus the Fullers. Who do you got? Scorpio. Can we do a tournament next week?
This will work. I don't know what that's. It's like a cod piece. He might just be wearing protective. He might be wearing protective gear or something.
Why has he got the fucking phone case? God damn it. Also, Barry Sanders was fucking Oklahoma State, so Ross is a fucking traitor.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. Well, oh man. See, we should put pictures with our post so we can put that picture up. Get that guy some okay. Okay. Breathe. Okay. He says, I had a young family who, even though I wasn't living with, I still needed to look after. So he hasn't met his second wife yet. But he's still, he's got the one divorce under his belt. And he's saying he's having too much fun. Could be disaster. I was trapped and I had to escape or lose everything. So he says that back in Westville, back home, a Mr. Earl Squires, who is the president of People's Bank, approved a loan to buy his grandparents' mercantile store, but only if he moves back permanently and is a full-time employee owner, on site. And he says he thinks the wrestling days are numbered, so he takes it. And his parents and friends are happy that he's settling down. They do not understand him in pro wrestling. And JR is heartbroken. And he says, so he's settled now. He's living there. He's working the mercantile store. And he decides to settle down more by marrying again. And here's wife number 2. And then he says, even though the women in my life changed, the issues within myself had not. So marriage number 2 started as rocky as the first one ended. What do you think? He says here, the issues within myself had not changed. What were the issues? Carousing? He's back home now. So was he ever blaming wrestling on the carousing? That we're alleging that we don't know if... What's JR's issues? He loves wrestling too much? I don't know. He hasn't explained what his issues are. Other than the bad habit of drinking and driving. But how much can he get that, going and working at the mercantile store in Westville? How else are you going to get to church? I don't know what we're talking about. Son, you just might not be the marrying kind, his dad says. He's just walking in a haze in Westville. Nothing. He's just making mistakes, he feels like. And then more terrible news for him. His store closed down. Walmart had become my competitor, and there was no how I was winning that particular battle. Yeah, I do recall Jim buying bologna and bread from the Walmart in Arkansas. Not going to the mom and pop shop, though, there, Jim, were ya? Isn't that funny? So the store that was his grandparents' store, and they'd all worked through, they'd been the place that people had come for decades, and he's ashamed and beaten down, And then he files for bankruptcy. And when he files for bankruptcy, his mother reveals to him, that crazy loan that the bank called you about? That was me. I mortgaged our home. See, I got you back living this nightmare. That's cool, huh? And now Jim is heartbroken. She loved me. Maybe a little too much. And his mom iterates that she doesn't care about money. She just wants her baby boy home. Jim, little Jimmy, I can't stand to see you like this. She saw what being on the road did to me, how it affected me, the short temper, the edginess, the withdrawals I was going through to get myself back in the business. I'd come from nowhere to find myself in a job. And he talks about like that only a few people can know what I'm talking about to be inside. And I felt like the circus was leaving town without me. And he says he was lost. I mean, JR, he's, I don't even think anybody, hold on, I'm losing my head. Hold on. I don't think anybody has ever expressed any of these books. Like, I think JR is the closest we've gotten of somebody that was like, I don't know, it's coming across how obsessed he is with professional wrestling. I'm trying to think. I guess Ben Pillar, his character, said that it was like he was a god and he wanted to kill everyone. That was pretty good. That was good. And then Brett kind of just, it's family business. It is what it is. I mean, everybody kind of, Hulk Hogan talked about being a fan. Wasn't he a fan of his contemporaries as a big-headed
I would
14-year-old?
say we haven't read it, but DDP's story is kind of like that. Because, he didn't break in until 35, but was always around it, always trying, always failing.
I mean, and JR's not even, what doesn't want to be a performer. So what is it about? Is it just being on the inside of something that he loved? Is the draw, the allure?
Yeah, JR's a guy who can't be part of it. So, you know what I mean? He can't be of it, so he just wants to be part of it. Like sports.
Yeah. Oh, JR. He needs it bad. I mean, he writes about wrestling like a drug. He talks about he goes through withdrawals. He's got all his symptoms of. He's got the sickness, I guess. 1982, getting back in. Cowboy calls him up, Jimmy. Need you to put some ads together for me. And he now has the Houston territory. And was it Paul Bosch?
Yep.
He's there. They got wrestlers like Jim Duggan, Jerry Stubbs as Mr. Olympia, Ted DiBiase. Wow. You better believe they got Jerry Stubbs. So JR is in his new job at the Tulsa radio station KTFX. And I'd love to have heard this. Does anybody have this, like a tape of this, of him? He's got the early morning. He doesn't have the prime morning slot. His day ends at 8 a.m. He's got
JR's radio show, you mean?
Yeah, he's got. I mean, I'm sure he's just playing music, but he's doing probably 5 to 8, 4 to 8, something like that.
That's rough.
That's radio.
Yeah, he says my show had just ended, but my radio workday was just getting underway because he is also, on top of being on-air talent, he says he's also selling the advertising at the station. And then Cowboy informs him that he also he bought Leroy out, and then now he also has Oklahoma. So there you go. And JR responds with, Leroy is gone. Now, hold on. I don't know when Leroy stopped being on TV, but JR's still watching wrestling, even though he can't be a part of it, right? He knows that Leroy's not. Leroy's gone. He could, right? Don't you think he put it together at some point? He talked to some, even if he's not paying attention, someone said something to him.
What are you talking about?
It's like, is JR, are we to believe that, how they describe sometimes when you leave the WWF, it's like you're out in the cold, no one talks to you. Everyone gives these kind of half-assed, like, well, you're on the road.
Yeah, it's fucking 1979. They don't have Facebook. I mean, how the fuck are you gonna know?
Yeah, somebody calls him up and goes, hey, Leroy's out.
I don't know. That might not have been known.
But the blind guy wasn't around. That's what I'm saying. How much was he pulling? Like, well, how did this all go down? So now JR's thinking, okay, hold on. At his radio station job, the managers that had hired them had moved over to another station, K95 FM or KWEN. And they wanted him to come on board as a salesperson. And so he's thinking, not only am I going to do that, I'm also going to take the Mid-South business with me. And that's what he does. And he places ads throughout Oklahoma. And he's starting, quote, I was starting to feel alive again.
Yes.
Jesus. Sick man. This is a very sick
And he says that Cowboy did have something big cooking up. He had Sylvester Ritter, the junkyard dog. Watts and his booker Buck Robley.
Yeah.
They were planning everything around junkyard dog, JYD. And he says that JYD would resonate on a human level with the fans. And the next sentence after that is, JYD was at the top of the business when the Fabulous Freebirds blinded him using hair removal cream that accidentally got into his eyes.
Yep.
And I just wrote human level. As you do. You can always understand that plight.
People were crying.
This is just so stupid. I really can't stand when people wax poetic about territory or like whatever. You know, when people are like, remember when Vince made Roman eat dog food? It's like, yeah, okay. It's about on par with everything else that's ever happened. And So they talk about the dog collar match. This is just JR waxing, like, yeah, he's just like, oh my god, those days. He talks about that Watts claimed that they got more than 30,000 at the Superdome. And then he kind of has to say, well, I know that's not true, but everybody was saying stuff like that, so whatever.
Man, in Westville, Oklahoma,
yeah,
there's a metal fabricator called War Horse Fabrication. I was just looking up Westville on the old Google Maps to see how.
Okay. Yeah, well, I didn't. I was wondering, how does he even get a search result like that? What's he? So JR now, like we said, JR the operator, he says, "Oh, you know what else I can do? I just create my own ad agency. I could create and broker my own ad packages, bring those to the media outlets myself. That would save my clients 15%, but I would come out way ahead financially." So there you go. He's like, why am I running around to all these places getting ads made up? I'll make the fucking ads. It took me a couple of years to pull everything together, but now he's finally doing better. Now he's feeling better. He's getting to enjoy his quote, unquote, normal life. His second marriage is somewhat more stable because I was somewhat more settled. We had a new child, 3 exclamation points from me, a new house, and a fresh start. He has a dozen clients, one of which is Mid-South. So then cut to Cowboy. What'd you think of the show last week? JR reveals that he's renting office space from Bill. So Bill will just wander into his office and be like, hey, you see that? Hey, I'm here for the rent. Also, did you see the show last night?
There's got to be some, like, tax fraud happening here. There's got to be some shady bits.
Yeah.
Hey, man, Bill Watts took a business class, okay?
I'm sure he did.
Jim, have I talked to you about the horizontal and the vertical? So he says to Jim, how would you like to come work for me? And JR says, my body filled head to toe with a rush of adrenaline at just the mere thought of it.
God.
And he writes it though he's trying to like act cool, but he's writing that his body is literally on fire as Bill dangles the idea of working in professional wrestling. Yes, I said immediately. Yeah? He asked, a little surprised at the speed in which I replied. Okay, so it went like this. Things are getting bigger, and I want you to come on board as the director of marketing for Mid-South Sports. Yes. 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 And JR immediately is doing the addict math in his head right now. He's he's like, okay, this is how I'm going to sell this. He's going to go to his family. That everything's settled, everything's fine. They're like, Jim figured it out finally. And he's like,
Finally doing something smart.
I'm not. He's gonna go home, and this is his pitch. I'm like in wrestling, but not in wrestling. Does that make sense? I'm the marketing guy.
I think that's a honeymooner's line when he goes, I'm going bowling, but I'm not going bowling. Something like that.
But he tells us, the reader, but I was back in. And that's what I did. I wrote, what's the allure? What is Jim missing when he's like scratching his arms and can barely stand being in the grocery store with his family? What he's just like, God, I wish I was drunk behind the wheel driving to some
doing lines with Jake Roberts talking about babyface comebacks in Oklahoma football.
No, it is. Yes. I can't wait to sit in a room uncomfortably with Grizzly Smith and hear about what he did the night before while I'm mad about it inside. Yeah. Oh, Bill's going to have, what a story Bill will have for me about fucking, who knows? Yeah, vertical depth. Chapter 16, back in Mid-South, 1984. I burned Jim's ass right out of the gate. I fucking got it good. Jim writes, it felt good to be home. And I wrote, with the wife and kids? No, not him. You weirdo. It's good to be home. Jim, goddamn, come on. TV tapings. This is home to JR. Not. He's got 2 wives, 2 kids. Home is at the Irish McNeil Boys Club in Shreveport, Louisiana. Reeser Bowden is the ring announcer, and Boyd Pierce is the host of the TV show. There you go. Might take months, but he was willing to wait years to get back in that announce table and fucking announce a fucking match. Cowboy probably smells this. You still interested in broadcasting, Jim?
Yes, sir.
No. He says, what? That's every exchange with JR.
Yeah.
Huh? And then Cowboy says, you heard me. You bet your ass I'm still interested. So they're going to start him off as a ring announcer. And then we'll see how it goes. Bill, settle down. Jesus, why are you acting like this job is like, you can say names into a microphone. We'll see if you can do that.
Yeah.
Even though you've already done this. Yeah. If you can say some names off a card, then you get the table. Weren't we just talking about this? How wrestlers act like these certain things are like the hardest jobs in the world. But we were talking about Tony. I think Larry and I were talking about Tony Khan. It's like Dave will be like, nobody's done these jobs. It's hard for it's a different. It's like Tony Khan never did it. Seemed to be able to book a pro wrestling show. Everyone met their time cues. Okay. He's
that
like,
Biff Wellington story has been living in my mind for 4 days now.
Oh yeah, that Dave dropped that it was that guy, that good Twitter account that's like, on this day on, now I'm blanking, Al or whatever his British guy, Al in the UK, or Alan, that's what it is, Cheap Shot Al or whatever. And it's like, to this day, Biff Wellington died, and Dave quote tweeted, it said, what is he? Did he do his interesting thing or something, like little known thing? Is that when Biff Wellington died, I called Chris Benoit because he knew him, and I left a voicemail, and I never got called about it. But Jerry McDivitt had the phone logs and called me and asked what we talked about.
Well, he said he didn't call me back because a few days later he did what he did.
Yes. He did what he did.
So we're blaming Dave. Dave was the...
Well, I posited in the Discord, and that's why you should join it for this kind of... I posited in the Discord that Chris Benoit, maybe it was Colin, but somebody brought up the shading that, he just didn't take deaths well. And then, he left a voicemail, so it was, hey, Chris, it's Dave Meltzer. Don't know if you know this. Biff Wellington recently passed, and I know you were close with them or knew him. And anything you'd like to say for when I read this obituary? This is Dave.
How's Nancy and Danielle doing? Let's hear from you.
Yeah. So he's probably got some ums in it. So call me back. Yeah. All right. And Chris is hearing the voicemail playing. He didn't pick up the phone because he's busy staring into like a shattered mirror. Tears silently running down his face. And it was just fucking one death. It was just fucking...
Oh, man.
It was that last little pebble.
Biff!
Eerie.
It is said that I think either Rocco Rock or Johnny Grunge died right before him, and they said that really shook him. So,
yeah, I know some of those where they're like, yeah, Chris really was shook by this one or that one. Like, really, that guy? Okay.
I like the way he ordered breakfast.
I know. And then when you tell people tell stories about Benoit, he just sounds like what was he funny? If he had dark, I guess dark. I've heard he had some like dark humor. But again, is that fun? I don't know. That's definitely of an era.
No, I see his personableness.
You've seen him personableness? I've only heard like where people talk about like his pranks or his idea of a prank or his idea of like it usually was abuse.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I can't. I don't want to go on a limb, guys. I can't imagine being friends with Chris Benoit.
No, you're right. You're right.
I can't imagine. And I know Chris Jericho insisted.
Come on.
But I know I might be speaking with hindsight being 2020.
If you go out to eat with him, he's getting chicken breast and steamed vegetables, and he's gonna have that gallon of water with him.
Yeah, and he's just talking about what? What's he talking about? He's one of those guys that wrestling was everything. So he's just like that again. I think we've talked about this. It's like I really, especially as I've gotten more and more years experience, I just don't care. I don't like talking shop. I hate it. I don't hate it. I just would rather not. And all these guys just talking shop. I think I'd be crawling out the window after 15 minutes of it. How many times can these guys like rank each other or talk about who's a good worker and who's not? It's like
I had a guy at my last job who just would talk about brushes and the new kind of brush and do you like this kind of brush? It's like, brother, I can't talk about this anymore. I don't care. This product is way better than this product. Don't you find that this product goes on better? I'm like, I put it on the wall, man. I really don't think about it that much.
hours in a car being like, fucking, I don't know who they fucking talk about, Bob Sweethand and all the crimes they've seen committed. It's like, I mean, after hour one, I think you've talked about everybody on the roster at that point in that era. I mean, now you could at least talk about.
You said it during the Triple H shows of when they would have the car rides. Triple H kept wanting to talk about the business, but Flair wanted to talk, pussy with Randy Orton and Jindrak.
That's right. Well, yeah, what they were getting up to.
Yeah, and they were saying that Triple H kept wanting to talk about business.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I can't even. JR talks a couple more times about sitting under the learning tree, and it's like, what are they saying? Wrestling is wrestling, and it's not even that hard. And really, you could teach a child like the basics to book a competent show.
Yeah.
Could you give them you give a child like here's 3
It's
rules.
all very romantic, isn't it?
They do
Like their
I guess
memories of these car rides, and yeah.
You got to convince yourself that like all that bullshit had some value to it.
Yeah. That they weren't just fucking coked up banging underage
they're
rats. You know what I mean? They were not talking about the business. They weren't improving in the car. They were throwing their beer cans out the window and blading themselves when the cops pull them over.
Dude, that's why I think we like Steve Kern's book, because he was just like, yeah, it's kind of like a bullshit job, whatever, you know. Like he always had like kind of at arm's length a little bit, but these other guys, I told you, with the Brett book, the romanticizing of it, it's like, guys, just be like, I like to not have a real job and be drunk. Like, just write. That's much more interesting to read about somebody just being like, yeah, it's fucking bullshit. But this whole like learning ring psychology, I can't with that. Miss me with that. What does JR care about ring psychology? What's he going to apply it to? His announcing?
Yeah, you got to talk about why they're trying to
call it like a real fight, Jim.
It's a little hard.
He's working the arm. He's working the arm.
Lots of real fights do that.
Yeah, you spent 15 minutes working a limb.
I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like nobody, if you're watching a boxing match, you know, like, what's the ring psychology on this? As you're calling it, announcing it. You don't have to, you know what?
Well, there is a story of how guys' styles match up in their.
Well, yeah, you can, but that's all prep. You're like, yeah. You kind of just talk off the, you know, like a story will present itself or whatever. So let the wrestlers tell you the story. Am I like crazy? Like, JR, why do you have to learn anything? Just let the wrestlers tell you the story and then just call what you're seeing. Like, go on the call it.
Well, but you don't think an announcer can help a little bit, get something across the finish line if it's maybe questionable?
I guess that's where his bullet points come in, maybe that's where he's just making little notes like that. I don't think he knows it, like a lot of what's like the nuts and bolts of it, but I think some of that, like, also I just think in general when workers talk about like ring psychology or whatever, it's just like, you mean like I don't like. It just seems a little. I guess calling it maybe ring psychology is a little like. Can we call it something else? Can we call it I don't know. What do they call improv classes when you start out? Like 101, something like that. We'll have some name for it if you took.
You're getting too got by it.
Maybe I might be a little in the weeds here.
Okay.
Let's see. Weeks built into months and time blurred as I submerged back down the rabbit's hole. So Watts puts JR in charge of promo day. And he thinks that Watts likes him because he works faster than Resor. And I think that's supposed to be Reese Bowden.
Yes.
But then they just write Resor. Cowboy likes that he works faster. JR works faster, so that saves him money. But JR says his relationship with Grizzly Smith is getting worse. Because now he was Leroy's. Now he's Bill's. Bill also kept him around. And Grizz was like, wait a minute. I thought I drove this JR kid out of the business. So, Junkyard Dog sees Jim running promo day, and Cowboys. Bill watches has two nicknames, Cowboy and Hat. So JYD says, "Where's the hat, Jim?" And JR says his voice broke a little. "I'm running the interviews today." Oh, by the way, he says that Bill once wore the cowboy hat all around because he lived his gimmick. Shout out to Ben Peller. So Grizzly informs people, "Yeah, Jim's running the interviews today." Oh wait, he said in a mocking, sarcastic tone, "Yeah, Jim's running the interviews today. This ought to be good."
Like Grizzly Smith.
Yeah. And it's in a mocking, sarcastic tone.
Cool.
It was mocking, be like, "Yeah, Jim's running the interviews today. This ought to be good." But it's sarcastic. It's, "Oh, yeah." I did right. All these people are dumb. So then again, I was picturing they're standing in this stupid TV room, the one camera, and because Bill Watts isn't going to be in the room, you've got Grizzly Smith being like, "Ooh," and it's, why are we doing this to ourselves? What's the point? I'd have so many like existential crises if I was in that room of like, what the fuck are we doing? Why is it like this? This guy's a predator. Yeah. This guy's a predator and he's mocking me. And he probably makes more than me. What the fuck is going on? And we're fake fighting? This is all about fake fighting? And
then to hold that job down and be like, "I've made it. This is like my dream." As you're just like ripping through marriages and children and like broken homes,
dude. And that's that stuff. He says it's about him, but he's also like clearly all fucked up because he's not. If he's in the wrestling business, he's all fucked up, and if he's out of it, he's all fucked up. I don't know. I'm like, what hole is he trying to fill, and why is he using wrestling to fill it? Like, what happened? I thought he said he had a good childhood. Something happened.
It was what the dogs that he had to slaughter.
Yeah, it was kind of fucked up.
So you hammer a bag of dogs, and now you puppies, and now you can't like have a wife. You can't have like a functional adult relationship, all because you hammered a sack of puppies.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Drooling inbred puppies.
You can't ever love yourself or love anybody because you hammered a sack of puppies. I mean, now I'm thinking about it and how his dad was like handling it, and then how his mom was like crying about it. They were like, "Our son is going to go through so many broken relationships because of this." They knew it in real time. Like, what are we doing to this kid? He's got to hammer their skulls. What? We can't. There's no other alternative. You can't dig a hole in the back and just throw him down there. Is that worse?
The drowning is the one way people do it sometimes.
You can't put a rock on the bag, throw it in the horse tank. I don't know. Why are we handing a hammer to Jimbo?
Just let him loose.
They won't survive. That's cruel. Of a varmint ate
The
him.
main thing, get the hammer.
It's a circle of life.
The main thing. He's so fucked up.
He takes years to start an advertising business and gives it up in a day.
Dude, it takes him 2 marriages, and he's like, he starts the no, he only starts the ad company because he's like, God, I'm tired of making all these, somebody else making all these ads and making the money from the pro wrestling. Everything's pro wrestling driven. and he like a forward momentum, or he's just static running the store. His grandparents, the like family store.
If he sacrificed that much for the family store, they would have put Walmart out of business.
I mean, that closed because he was just like dead inside. He blamed Walmart, but it's also like, Walmart, what year is this? What is he talking about? Like, we had a local store that ran well into the late 90s. I mean, I think technically a fire took him out, but then it's like, wow, weird, a fire when you guys probably are gonna go. That's odd. Let's see here. So, what did I write here? Oh, Watts keeps moving JR into more positions, like pushing him forward in the line of power. And I'm going, oh, wait, what year is it? It's 1984. It's almost 85. It's like Watts starting to be like, he sees something. He doesn't know if it's good or bad as far as the, Vince in the North. I felt like I was getting like a vibe of like JR being set up as somebody to like, this is your fault. Just like as a little, just in case things went maybe a little down. He can point at Jim and be like, you're the one I made fucking Booker.
No, because he never gave him that much.
Well, this is early on where I'm like, wait, is it? Because he's like, live gates are going down a bit. Watts needs new faces. And so they decide to hook up with the Memphis territory, Jerry Jarrett. And they even have JR call a match with one of the Memphis owners, Jerry Lawler.
Man.
JR says, we had many mutual friends, so when I finally met Jerry Lawler in person, I felt like we already knew each other.
All the same people Bob Sweeten knew are the same people Lawler.
Yeah, Jim. Oh, so this one's okay. Okay. Because then he says, Lawler was a pro and, he was, good, but, it was hard to talk, get his attention during the matches because he was more interested in surveying the women in the audience. Now, is this a dry JR joke here? Or is this just him, like, honestly saying this is why Jerry is scanning the audience for the women? JR says he was scouting our territory, and the amount of women at the show was an indicator of the baby faces if they were over or doing their job for the female fans.
I think he's being serious.
That Jerry Lawler's just keeping an eye on all the women just to see, are they cheering enough?
I think he would have punched that up with a more obvious joke if he would have.
Okay, I think that sounds right.
With the king, you never knew which one he was doing. One of those sort of things.
If we want, didn't he used to make jokes at Jerry's expense about the age of the gals he likes?
Not JR.
Not JR. I feel like if he did, then we would have like a little idea of how he would joke about Bob. Be like, oh, okay, just replace that.
I mean, maybe in '97 when he was doing heel JR in the 3-man booth. Maybe.
Yeah. Let's see. So, Jerry Lawler and Jerry Jarrett kind of look over the Watts' territory, and they say that, look, your heels should be the baby faces and vice versa. And JR thinks about it and goes, wait a minute. We did have a lot of dynamic, athletic youngsters in villainous roles, and all our protagonists were older, bulky brawlers. It's like, should probably switch those up. And
the story, Watts does say the story, and this is how this trade happened. Except Watts' story, and I've heard this before. Jerry Jarrett says to Watts after watching the show, he goes, "You don't have any where are all the blowjobs at?" Bill Watts is like, I didn't know what he was talking about. I said, what are you talking about? Blowjobs. And he explains the fucking baby face thing to him. So
Oh. I dropped my drawers. Wait, what is he? I got on my knees. Let's see. Oh, so yeah, they're gonna make a trade here. Mid-South can have, or Memphis can have anyone. They cannot have Junkyard Dogs. Junkyard Dog. And Watts cannot have Lawler. He cannot have Jimmy Hart, the manager. He cannot have the fabulous ones, Stan Lane and Steve Kerr. And they are going to send to Memphis Rick Rude, and Larry Hacksaw Higgins, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And they got in return the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express. And this is where he sees Jim Cornette getting ass chewing, quote unquote, from Watts. And he learned a lesson about interviewing. And so what happened was he calls in, he's doing the promo day, and he says, here to talk about, Jim Cornette. And Jim Cornette blistered me with one-liners. And Jim's thinking, or JR's thinking, oh, this is kind of like how Jerry Lawler in Memphis, where he'd make fun of Lance Russell. This is what Cornette's doing, He's trying to get over by giving me a hard time. Cornette made fun of my hair, my suit, my accent, my home state. And at the end of it all, JR goes, and the Midnight Express will debut this Saturday night in the Municipal Auditorium. So Watts sees all this happen, and he's fucking pissed. The last thing in my lifetime I want to see is you and my announcer wrestle a match. Your clever diatribe didn't sell me one damn ticket. I want you to mention the name of the town, your opponents, and tell me a little bit about your team. Cornette was did not get overwhelmed, did not take it personally, and just he said, okay. And he did a second take, and he did what Bill asked. And Watts says, if you can stay on track, we're going to make a lot of money together. And now we get to, am I getting confused? Or like that previous chapter where he's like, it starts about one thing and then it's just all over the place. Is JR doing that again? He's back. This promo day thing has turned into him showing up by himself because of Grizzly Smith trying to mock him. To now we're talking about like the Rock and Roll Express, the camera. Okay, so because now he goes into this story. There's Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. Okay. JR's like, these guys look tired. And that's because Robert Gibson. Can we pull up a picture of Robert Gibson for this?
Okay, hang on. Hang on, because I want to choose the right one.
Yeah.
And I have it.
Yeah. Okay, which one are you looking at? You can present it.
Open image. I want to make this bigger. Okay, well, here.
Okay. Okay, Robert Gibson's nickname is Hoot. And Hoot would pride himself on lacing his and Ricky's long car journeys with the most vile, smelly farts known to modern man. That's what JR says. And he called them Hoots.
Farts being so vile that, like, you have a whole, like, persona dedicated to.
And that's what he says. These were the kind of quote-unquote hoots that were so disgustingly potent. So I assume that's what he's like. I hooted. I mean, that's what he's okay. So then JR is kind of like, okay, so just let me really paint you a picture. So what Ricky Morton's life is just doing these long car rides where hoots it up, and it makes you want to throw up. They're just so bad. And then they go out and they wrestle a match, and then they promo or whatever. They got to stand around and dick around, and then he gets back in the car and the guy just is farting again. And that's this guy's life, is just like brief moments of getting outside to fresh air and then being.
Why would you keep riding with them?
They still work together to this day.
Is he still? I mean, yeah, it's not like hoots get better with age. Like, you know how Ricky Morton's son wrestles now? Was he like they were in a car? They were in a car with Hoot, and then he did it to him, and he's like, "You ain't a real wrestler, son. Do you smell that? Oh, I'm so proud of you." Tear down my face, not because of the pride, but because of the smell.
It's your first time.
Yeah. Robert Gibson's crying too. I'm so glad I was able to do that for you, Ricky.
I'd be glad to do the honors.
So JR tells us this. He goes, okay, they're cranky. Then he tells us about the farting. Then he goes, I'm going to try to lighten the mood by saying, hey, Ricky, I know that Robert's good friend Junior is especially concerned about the potential career-ending scenario that you two are facing. And he goes, Robert's good friend Junior is his penis. That's what he called it. So Hoot calls his penis Junior. Are we clear? Okay.
I believe I've heard of Gibson doing the wristwatch gimmick.
He should put his legs up in the air and then drape it down and see if one of his hoots can blow it back up in the air. I don't know if that would work. You'd have to hold the balls back or something. I don't know. Let's see. So JR's, I like that this too. JR's like, I know what'll lighten the mood for this thing that we're going to put on national TV. I'll reference this guy's penis. That'll make everyone smile. And so instead, Ricky says, instead of like saying his line or whatever, he goes, I just want to get this done. So then JR goes for it again. Hey, Ricky, I know that Robert's good friend Junior is especially concerned. No, I just want to do this straight. Okay, sorry. No more Junior. And then Ricky is staring at Robert Gibson, and Robert Gibson is smiling. And then they get back to trying to cut the promo. And Ricky is now filled with rage. Robert is a picture of pure joy. You fucking asshole. This is bullshit. I'm done. I'm gone. I'm out of here. He hooted, you see. And then JR's like, what the hell's going on? And Robert Gibson does the old hoot, does the old give it a minute. And JR's like, my eyes! Says it burned his eyes. And so he's panicking now because he's got to get these promos down. And he remembers the Bull Belinsky incident. The Bull Belinsky incident was when Bull flashed his opponent off camera during the promo. Cowboy saw it, fired Bull on the spot. That's goofing around to the highest order.
What a bunch of...
Bull Belinsky. Why don't you get separate dressing rooms for him for the promo shoot, Bill? And this wouldn't happen. let's see. Cameraman goes, what happened? Gibson poisoned us both. And then JR says, you think Bill saw? Cameraman says, he's not here. JR smiles. You really believe that? Watts was watching from the control room. I knew he was. Let's see. Cameraman also smells stinky. Everyone is smelling stinky. And then a deep voice from the back of the room. No wonder the houses are so small if this is the way we're doing business. I guess that's my hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Tough guy.
Tough guy. Ernie Ladd. No, Sean, I'm not doing the voice. Ernie Ladd retorted. If you were over, we could draw the people into them arenas. So
Thank you.
everyone's smelling, just to really lay this out, everyone is smelling farts. The Rock and Roll Express have stormed off, or one half of them have. Jim Duggan now, seeing all this buffoonery, says, no wonder the houses are so small. Then Ernie Ladd is standing up and going, maybe if you were over, we could draw a little bit. Duggan says to Ernie, you want to step outside?
Tough guy.
Yeah. And then now Ernie's standing up. And then this is where JR says, Jim, why don't you go out for a ride? Go on, clear your head. And that is code. Why don't you go for a ride is code. Something that Cowboy, he learned from Cowboy. If wrestlers were getting pissy and unproductive, you tell them to go to the car. And what that means is go smoke a joint. Smoke a bowl. And then they would come back chill. Duggan is mad. He's had 7 straight nights of cutting his own forehead.
That's so crazy to me. Like bleeding every night.
Yep.
Fun. Think about all that knowledge he's getting on the road, though, or sharing, possibly.
That's
all those car rides. There's a guy. Does he have a book? He's just going to be like, I smoked pot, right? He's going to be like a guy that's like, I had a good time.
Duggan?
Yeah, don't you think? In his book,
he had the
he's
whole
not going to be like,
thing with his sheik.
Yeah, he's not. Is he a religious guy now?
I don't think so.
Because he's not going to write a good book if that's the case. It's going to be all like, I just want him to be like, this was a blast. Book. Right? It has to be like, I had a blast. He's not like, I just don't want him to play like into his gimmick or something. Like,
yeah.
It would be a book where he's just like, oh, these people that are buying it need to make sure I believe in America. I don't want to hear about that, Jim. I want to hear about cocaine.
Jim Duggan story by Scott E. Williams.
Is this good? I mean, I know it's not, but
the book?
Yeah. Have you read it? Has anybody read it?
It's from 2016. Isn't Scott Williams the one who died writing JR's book?
I don't think so. I think that was another name. I hate this when you click on the author and it doesn't give you.
Yes, it is.
Gives you like a bunch of shit.
Yes, it is. It's the same author.
Oh, wow.
He was doing.
So he wrote this right before he died. I mean, JR's is when he died, but he got Duggan's out at least.
Is there like an excerpt or somebody that says anything about this? Like,
I don't know. What do you expect it to be? I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we're going to eventually read it, but it's just like.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Wow, this one has a lot of 4 stars, not 5 stars. I'm just looking quickly for a fun read told with a lot of heart. I learned so much about what goes on behind the scenes.
See, it's going to be a wrestling book then.
It's very sweet memoir. Wait, there's pro cop anecdotes.
It's called a work. It's call to shoot. I love my wife.
Listen to this one. Very sweet memoir about a wrestler who loves the fans, so it stinks when it dips into pro cop anecdotes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well. And what can you do attitudes towards evil billionaires like Vince McMahon?
Well, Duggan's father was the chief of Glens Falls.
There you go. And he's a punch-down take on his peers' struggles with trauma and addiction.
Oh.
This one is 4 stars. Pretty much what you would expect from old Hacksaw. Fun read. I don't know what I would expect. What the fuck does that mean? I guess if I'm thinking about his wrestling character, imagine it's written in crayon and it's fucking like he's cross-eyed. Like, what do you mean? What the fuck?
No one could buy a wrestling book though, expecting it to be like in character, right?
Yeah, what if you buy Jim Duggan's thing and you just were, I don't know, you're expecting the word hoe over and over, just long, and then you read it and it's about his life, and you're like, this is not what I wanted or expected. She's just like a guy.
4 stars.
Yeah, let's see. So, in all this, Robert Gibson Ricky Martin comes back, is like, let's do this, and then guess what? Robert Gibson hoots again. And then that's end scene.
Yeah.
You don't do at the top of the table? This might be, if we do this, we'll get close.
Yeah, we're done.
Oh, man. Top of the table is Big Cat Ernie Ladd. At the top table. JR's moving on up.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
It's Wilson again. That was fun. I bet it was the best episode ever. You know what you can do to help the workers out? Rate, review, all that good stuff on whatever app you're listening to. Tell us how much you love us. If you want to contact us, it's theworkersclubshow@gmail.com. We got a YouTube, The Workers Club Podcast, a Blue Sky, theworkersclub.org, and we have a Discord where the invite link is left in various places. I'm sure you can find it. That's it. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Bye.
Smile and love each other.